review and a test drive of the 2025 Nissan Armada SL all-wheel drive, the new generation. Everything is LED. You have 4 lenses. It's projector-style LED headlights. It's direct injection plus it's port injection. So it's like combined injection V6 twin turbo, which you can fold down. You don't have to actually hold the buttons. Slide acceleration. More importantly, specifically comparing this to Infiniti QX80 is that Infiniti QX80 costs more. Good afternoon everyone and welcome to my channel Roman Rides, and today I'm sharing a quick review and a test drive of the 2025 Nissan Armada SL all-wheel drive. I think that this is like a bargain, a sweet spot, especially for the money. Let's get started. Alright, so 2025 Nissan Armada. On my different channel I have already tested the most performance, the most off-road oriented model, which is Nissan Armada Pro 4X 2025. Unfortunately, there was a quick drive and I didn't get to actually film the full video for this channel. But if you're interested, I can link that video to this channel. So, GLC 43 AMG. So this is 2025 Nissan Armada SL. Let's get started with this car. First of all, I want to say that this is the new model, the new generation. So this car is going to replace and has already replaced the previous generation of Nissan Armada. And as I already tested Infiniti QX80 and I also uploaded that video to this channel, my biggest regret about, not the regret, but disappointment of the Infiniti QX80 was the price. The price tag for that car was just incredibly high, like $112,000 for a car. Yes, it's got air suspension, it's got nice materials inside the cabin, obviously, the looks and everything else. But I think that Nissan Armada actually looks better than Infiniti QX80. Nissan Armada basically has the same powertrain, 3.5, I want to say natural aspirated, 3.5 twin turbocharged V6 producing 425 horsepower as well as 513 pound-feet of torque, which is the same amount of torque that you can get from Infiniti QX80. So my question is, should you buy Infiniti QX80 over Nissan Armada 2025? My immediate answer is no. You should consider buying this vehicle. If you're in the market for a big SUV, for a 3-row full-size SUV, which actually competes in the same class as Chevy Tahoe, GMC Yukon, Cadillac Escalade, Ford Expedition, as well as Lincoln Navigator, Jeep Wagoneer, this is actually a great choice if you're not chasing the ultimate luxury experience, for example, because I'm going to show you all the features and obviously I'm going to take it for a quick drive. But let's start from the looks of this vehicle. Don't forget, this is still body on frame. So in this generation, Infiniti QX80 actually has got rid of the 2-speed transfer case. So all Infiniti QX80s, they do not have like a low range for the vehicle, for the off-road mode. Nissan Armada has it. If you get a Nissan Armada with all-wheel drive, which is called intelligent all-wheel drive, by default you have 4 high and 4 low. So 4 low is not available for Infiniti QX80, but it is available for Nissan Armada. So that's one point towards Nissan Armada. In terms of the looks of this vehicle, obviously everything is LED. You have 4 lenses. It's projector-style LED headlights. Unfortunately, we don't have fog lights, but fog lights available in higher trims. You have parking sensors all around. You have 360 camera, obviously approach angle, departure angle, and the ramp, I forgot the name. The ramp, I would call it the ramp angle. This is worse than, for example, the Pro 4X version, which I tested before, but unfortunately this video, as I mentioned, is not available on this channel, but I will link to my main channel. I will add the link to this video. So, but at the same time, obviously, you see the front lip underneath the bumper, actually, this is for aerodynamics. It's not for, obviously, it's bad for off-road. If you're gonna take this vehicle for off-road, obviously you're gonna scrap that probably in 5 minutes. But at the same time, everything else is really nice. The ground clearance is around 8.2, 8.5 inches. This specific trim, which is SL, does not come with air suspension, but you can get air suspension when you buy Nissan Armada Platinum Reserve or Pro 4X. So Pro 4X comes standard with all-wheel drive and with air suspension, but not in our case. And as I have already tested the car with air suspension, but that obviously the video is available on my second channel, I'd like to compare obviously Nissan Armada without air suspension and regular coil springs here with that car, because I'm really curious like how this vehicle performs on the road with some road imperfections compared to that. So back to the looks of this vehicle. It's 20-inch alloy wheels, it's 275, it's the same brand of the tires, Yokohama, but the name of the tire obviously is different. So the size is 275 by 60, 20-inch alloy. So it's very meaty tire. The profile of the tire is really nice. Obviously, you have some chrome accents here, unlike Nissan Armada Pro 4X, which has these 3 off-road slots, which actually stand out from the general looks of this vehicle. You have some chrome parts here, the chrome line here, under the windows, obviously, above the windows, no chrome, everything else is just black. So in terms of the looks, I think this is very, very good looking vehicle. It's not screaming like, look at me, I'm the best SUV off-road performer. No, by any means, but this is very understated design, I would say. It's very classy, and I really like the looks of this vehicle, to be honest. So I even look at more than a Nissan, this Nissan over Infiniti QX80, to be honest. In terms of the specs, so this is VR35DD. Gone is the V8 5.6, which was extremely durable, very nice, natural aspirated. Now we have the V6. This is the only option for the American market. I know for some other markets, Nissan still offers 3.8 liter natural aspirated, which we have here in the US under the hood of Nissan Frontier. But back to this engine, it's direct injection plus it's port injection. So it's like combined injection V6 twin turbo. That should alleviate the issue with carbon buildup on intake valve. V6 twin turbo Nissan producing 425 horsepower, 513 pound-feet of torque. You see the battery, electric battery is located here, everything else. The huge air box is located here. And this is not the hot V design, for example, like BMW does with V8. This is V6, so we have twin turbochargers located on either side, on both sides of the banks. And yeah, the suspension obviously is regular coil springs. No air suspension in this specific model, SL. Nissan Armada comes in a few trims, SV, the base one, then goes this one, SL, then you have Platinum, then you have Platinum Reserve, and then you have the top trim for the off-road performance, obviously Pro 4X. So the difference between these and Pro 4X, all Platinum Reserve, no air suspension, and Pro 4X, as I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, comes with rear locker as well. So obviously you have hood struts, you have hood insulation, that's nice to see. The front suspension is double wishbone suspension, multi-link rear suspension. So let's start the interior review from the trunk. Obviously it's power operated trunk, as I mentioned, 360 camera, parking sensors. You have power operated third row, which you can fold down. You don't have to actually hold the buttons. Okay, yeah, I was not sure if they will fold down completely. Okay, so we can unfold them. And so you see how much space you actually have, how much cargo room you have if all 3 rows are up. So you can put some suitcases here, no problem. You have household outlet style, 120 volts, 150 watts. You have tie-down hooks, some hooks here, cigarette style. No, we don't have a cigarette style outlet here. Oh yeah, no, we don't. I wanted to say yes, but no. You have spare tire available there. You see the multi-link rear suspension. You have 2 buttons. You can close the tailgate and you can lock the car completely. You have keyless access on all 4 doors. This is captain chair setup. You have central console with 2 USB Type-Cs, 2 cup holders. You have individual armrests, obviously. You don't have heated or ventilated rear seats, unfortunately. That would be nice to have, but it is what it is. So this is how, in one touch, this is how you can actually get to the 3rd row. So let me try to get there. I'm 6.2 tall. All right, so it would be something like that. Obviously my knees are almost touching my ears, so it's not like the best configuration, but at the same time, on the flip side, you have power operated 3rd row, so you can recline the seats. Obviously, this seat is mentioned for mostly for children and for shorter, not so tall people, obviously. You don't have a armrest here. Obviously, this is the third row. But if you want to get out, you again push that button and you get out of here. So very easy, no problem at all. Second row, captain chairs. You don't have, wanted to say you don't have AC vents, but the AC vents are located here on the ceiling actually. And so that's about it. You have 3-zone climate control, you have additional 2 USB Type-Cs and cigarette style outlet there. It is Klipsch audio, you have grab handles here, black ceiling, no panel-roof, no sunroof, nothing is available here. Blind side monitoring system. You have basic power operated seats. Unfortunately, one disadvantage of this car is that no heated seats for the rear captain chairs. Unfortunately, especially here in Florida, it's not that relevant, but for some northern states like Michigan, Minnesota, obviously you would like to have heated rear seats for sure. But for Florida, another negative, specifically for this trim, is that the leatherette, it's not a genuine leather, it's leatherette, doesn't have perforation. So just imagine scorching heat and the car has been sitting outside on the parking lot and you have just got off the work and now you are going to head out to home, and then you'll be sweating like crazy until the moment when the AC is gonna cool the cabin down. So that's like one drawback for this specific trim I would like to have, because more and more affordable vehicles, not specifically SUVs, but other brands, like they offer perforated leatherette, not genuine leather. So I'm not asking for leather, just perforation here. The host of driver assist features available here as well. Let me start the car up. Power operated steering wheel, this nice animation and audio sound as well. So everything is digital here, digital dashboard. You have 360 camera. Because we are in a rock, this is rock mode. So this is the rock mode, okay. It's for all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive automatic mode. So we have rut, snow, mud and rut, sand, rock, tow, sport, eco, and standard. So let's get back to rocks. If you enable rocks and some other modes, then your 360 camera actually acts as an invisible hood, which is really nice. So you have 3-zone climate control, you have heated seats and heated steering wheel here. You have different drive modes because this all-wheel drive car. And you have 3 modes. You have automatic, 4 high and 4 low. So there is no 2 high. There is no option to get it into rear-wheel drive only, like some GM vehicles, like Chevy Tahoe, for example, maybe GMC Yukon. So I can call this almost like a full-time all-wheel drive, although there is no center differential, like center torsion differential, for example. If we're comparing this with Toyota Land Cruiser 250, for example, the new one. So basically I can say that this is almost full-time all-wheel drive. Heated steering wheel, heated seats, as I mentioned, huge display. It's based, the whole infotainment system is based on Android Automotive. So you have Google, Android Auto, you have Apple CarPlay, wireless, obviously. You can switch between different modes here, settings and everything else. Historically, no, I don't want anything. So historically, all settings of the car in Nissan vehicles, they have been buried in this mode, like settings mode of the digital gauge cluster. I'm not gonna go there.
I didn't understand.
Yeah, okay, you didn't understand, but that's fine. Multifunctional 3-spoke steering wheel. You have paddle shifter for your 9-speed automatic transmission. It is not the same ZF transmission as you can find in the new Nissan Murano 2025. It's different. You have automatic headlamps control during twilight. Obviously, you have AC vents here. You have 2 memory positions for 2 persons, power folding mirrors, and all windows, they are automatic. So here you have a nice, very nice and sturdy lead for the center console. You have 2 cup holders, wireless charger, 2 USB-Cs additionally here, Armada script here, and a huge cubby there, as well as nice plastic. It's not felt, unfortunately, but it's quite deep, I would say. You have wood inserts and you have very nice inserts. This like leather inserts. Looks like a strap. Klipsch audio system, as I mentioned, and yeah, the price of this vehicle. Let's take a look at the price. because the starting price for Nissan Armada 2025 is $60,000 before taxes, obviously. For the SV rear-wheel drive, we have SL, which is the next in the lineup, with all-wheel drive. So the price tag for this vehicle is $69,680. 2025 Nissan Armada SL Intelligent four-wheel drive, courtesy of Tampa here in Florida, Tampa Bay area. Thanks to Red. If you're looking on the market, if you're looking for a Nissan SUV or any SUV like three-row full-size SUV body on frame, that's one great option I would really recommend. If you're on the market between Jeep Grand Wagoneer, Ford Expedition, Chevy Tahoe, GMC Yukon, for example, this is the way to go. $69,000 all-wheel drive. Yes, no air suspension, but for the money, like competitors, they do not offer air suspension until you pay around $75,000, $80,000 from what I remember. I recently tested Cadillac Escalade, the 2025, the refreshed. That car costs $125,000, which is a lot, which is like $55,000 more. And yes, that car has air suspension, but that car also has this one, some minor creases here with the leather, that's totally fine for the car that costs like $70,000. Of course, in general, maybe that's not fine for you, but you can find the same creases on a car which costs like $55,000 more. Let's get into this car. But before I do that, the price of $69,000, 3-zone climate control, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, no panel roof, no sunroof, 20-inch alloy wheels, regular coils and springs, suspension setup, 3.5 twin turbocharged, 425 horsepower, basically the same powertrain, slightly detuned compared to QX80, and everything for $70,000. I think that's the bargain. Let's take a quick test drive and then let's sum it up. I really like how this transmission works, because I recently tested Nissan Murano with the new 9-speed automatic from ZF. And I'd like to say that actually I like this car more, this SUV should I say. So it's also 9-speed, it's not ZF, because from what I remember, ZF is used for transversely mounted engines in front-wheel drive based architecture cars like Nissan Murano, Nissan Pathfinder, and others. So this car actually is, initially it's a rear-wheel drive based architecture, and it also uses 9-speed over 7-speed in the previous generation. So I'd like to say, even though this car does not feature air suspension, which I was able to experience during my Nissan Armada Pro 4X drive 2025 on my different channel, as I mentioned probably 25 times over this video, I'd like to say still it is extremely plush in terms of ride comfort. It is very softly sprung suspension. Yes, it's a lanyard. It's like a boat on the road. Obviously, the rocking and pitching, the body on frame, architecture. Obviously, when you drive over something, when you hit a pothole, road imperfections, you will hear that, but you will not hear that too much compared to GM vehicles. So, for example, what I have learned so far from testing GM vehicles like Chevy Tahoe, GMC Yukon, and others, is that as soon as you drive into a pothole, for example, then you have this secondary bump to your body actually. Then first it goes to the frame, and then it goes to the body of the car. Here we don't have that, because I don't know why and how, but Nissan managed to actually set up this suspension the way it is, and it is extremely comfortable. It actually, on like bad surfaces, bad pavement, it behaves almost like a unibody SUV. Yes, you still have this, body lean towards left and right, obviously, but at the same time, it's very quiet. The torque is just instantaneous. I know that V8 sound was great, was very nice, but this 3.5 twin turbocharged, actually it sounds pretty well. Initially, I had some, suspicions that, for example, this car will not sound great even inside the cabin, but now I have already driven that a few times, and I can very confidently say that this car sounds great inside the car, at least. Yes, outside you will not hear this grunt and burbles from V8, but inside it's very, low low tones, low tune sound, which is really nice. So the suspension eats everything, all potholes, everything. It just glides over road imperfections and like different bumps and potholes. The main difference between the car with air suspension and this car without air suspension is that how much actual information is being transmitted to the cabin from the suspension, right? So yes, it is softly sprung. Yes, it is a boat. And it's very comfortable. The ride is just outstanding, especially considering the Infiniti QX80. But the main difference between the car with air suspension and without air suspension is that how much information is translated into the cabin. What I mean, like some smaller imperfections, it's not critical, but you will hear that and you will feel that on the steering wheel, on the body, right? And then the car with air suspension actually mostly isolates those small imperfections. So the difference is noticeable, especially considering where you're gonna use this vehicle. For example, if you need like extra ground clearance, obviously air suspension is no brainer for you. But if you're looking for like just softly sprung suspension without too much asking from this suspension, without any miracles, I think this car like SV and SL and Platinum, they will do very well. Like that's at least my experience. So this is not far from Tampa Airport, and I'm just driving over this road imperfections, small humps and bumps here and there, some potholes, and I don't feel anything here. The car is extremely softly sprung. Slight acceleration. Yeah. Obviously, it's getting a little bit harsher, and you feel a little bit more information from the road imperfections compared to the car with air suspension, but not too drastically. Not too drastically, I would say. So this is still very composed and very nicely balanced suspension between being extremely softly sprung and between being very comfortable in general. So I think this is the great setup. I mean, I truly believe this is a great setup. And the pickup is very nice. The engine picks up very well. You do not feel, lack of power, lack of torque. It's just very decent. Yeah. To be honest, in terms of acceleration, I like this car even more than QX80 from Infiniti, even though that car boasts like 25, 30 more horsepower. I don't know how, but probably the answer is the same torque. This vehicle, this engine has got the same amount of torque as the Infiniti QX80. So the only difference is how much horsepower you have. Yeah, it is just amazing how soft this car is and how universal this car is. All-wheel drive, almost full-time all-wheel drive, because there is no way you can engage two-wheel drive only like some GM vehicles. Turning radius, very nice. And this is Japanese car, so another reason to buy it, I hope this engine actually stays reliable, because we know that from Nissan GTR, which has VR38DD, right? That car has been produced since 2009, and it is relatively reliable as for the supercar. And so I think that over 15, 16 years, Nissan has refined this engine. And so this version with 3.5 liter displacement actually should do very well. If we're talking about like reliability going forward for many, many years to come. All right, Alright, I hope you enjoy watching this video. I really wanted to show this video and to share this video, especially after test driving so many vehicles in this class. Body on frame, luxury like GMC, Yukon, Chevy Tahoe, Cadillac Escalade, Jeep Wagoneer, Infiniti QX80, Ford Expedition, and more. And I'd like to say that for $70,000 nowadays, 2025, especially considering the inflation rates and everything is extremely expensive, the average transaction for a new car is approaching $50,000 if I'm not mistaken. For 70 grand, body on frame, yes, regular coils and springs, 3.5 twin turbocharged. I think this should be reliable. VR35DD with direct and port injection, especially for those of you concerned with carbon buildup on intake valves. With nice interior. Some minuses specifically that I want to highlight is that no perforated leatherette seats, no heated rear seats, and that's about it. Everything else, the car is extremely smooth. The power is more than enough. The power is decent. The torque, you have more torque than 6.2 natural, aspirated with General Motors. So you have more torque than those vehicles. 0 to 60 is around 6.5 seconds, which is not bad for a Nissan vehicle. And moreover, more importantly, specifically, comparing this to Infiniti QX80 is that Infiniti QX80 costs more and doesn't have low range in 2-speed transfer case. So Nissan Armada can be had with all Nissan Armada with all-wheel drive can be had with or are actually not can be had is not an option. By default, Nissan Armadas with all-wheel drive have 2 speed transfer case, which is simply not available in Infiniti QX80. That's a big plus and advantage over that vehicle. So for 70 grand, I think this is one of the best vehicles in this class. It's extremely comfortable. It's very boaty. It's very plush. The seats are comfortable. It's quiet. I didn't hear any rattles or squeaks in this vehicle. It's plenty fast and plenty of power. And yeah, I would greatly recommend this over something like GM vehicles, for example, especially considering their prices. So it's just my point of view, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please share with your friends and people who are on the market. Again, thanks to courtesy Nissan of Tampa, Florida. Ask Red if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button. See you next time.